Our next question comes from Fred Coker. It'll be directed to Mr. Ginta.
Mr. Ginta, New Hampshire has a 5.7% unemployment rate, one of the lowest in the country. But there are still some 43,000 people in New Hampshire out of work and many others who are underemployed. Most would agree that the only way out of this dilemma is a growing economy with more jobs. What role, if any, should the federal government play in helping to create a national atmosphere or provide stimulus and incentives or tax policies that would lead to job growth? And what specific policies would you support as a member of Congress in that regard?
Well, unfortunately, according to recovery.org, only 2,700 jobs have actually been created here in New Hampshire as a result of the stimulus, which accounts for about $355,000 per job. That's recovery.org. That's not a Republican organization. That's the website run by our Vice President. The problem here is we are spending too much money. You see job growth only in the federal sector. Since President Obama took office, we have actually created 150,000 federal jobs. But we have done little to help the small business owner here in New Hampshire. 80% of our economy is driven by small business. And what we need to be doing is extending those cuts so those small business owners have an understanding of what's going to occur in the next several years. Allow them to start investing in their own companies again, and allow those individuals to create jobs. It's not the federal government that creates jobs. Federal government can create an environment where small business creates jobs, and that's the policy that we need to start focusing on.
Congresswoman, 1 minute.
Well, thank you for that question. I would like to point out, when my opponent talks about that debt, that part of the problem was they had 2 wars that weren't even put on the budget, Medicare Part D that wasn't paid for, and tax cuts for the top 1%. So that debt came to us. Now, that's a very strict formula that Mr. Ginta is looking at in terms of the stimulus package about how many jobs it created. It does not measure actually the number of jobs created, and I urge people to go and look at that so they can understand that better. It's a little misleading. But the way that we need to get out of this is to start making something here in America. We have to make something. And so what we have seen with these trade agreements is we've sent the jobs overseas. I used to work in factories to pay my way through college. I drive by them now, they're gone. They're gone. So we have to create the environment, and fortunately we have. We have done 8 tax cuts for small businesses, and we've passed some legislation to help manufacturers.